that's kind of one of the big issues we have. Is game development costs so much money. Like, I would say what we want about studios, right? I get that. It costs so much money. They don't want to risk going bankrupt to make a game. But the problem is it's not just the studios. It then becomes the publishers. And what have we seen this year? The most amount of layoffs ever. In gaming, it's bad and it loses $1 million bad. That's really bad, you know? Like, oh, don't get me wrong. I get it. I get it from that level. Like, what also irks me when we can. So as gamers, we're not great either, and we complain a lot. So when Spider-Man 2, but at the same time, do we need another copy-paste sports game or Call of Duty? Exactly. I think it's the same argument with microtransactions, though, isn't it? It's the same argument with microtransactions. If people are still buying them, you know, people are still getting the microtransactions, they're still doing that. So we're basically not fighting that. But equally, it is becoming harder and harder for them to market to children, which are a large demographic of people who pay microtransactions, etc. Like, well, think about it this way: Call of Duty this year, it didn't top the sales chart for the first time. People don't want it. But on the other side, people complained about Tears of the Kingdom and Spider-Man 2 because it used the same map. Extended versions of those maps, yes, but they complained that they still had the same map. But because they used that same map, they were able to extend it, put more in there, and make the game quicker. Which is beneficial for the studios, because it means that they can make more money much quicker. Beneficial for us, because it means we get to play more games, and at the same time, like, it just allows us to feel better with ourselves. Like, but yeah, that's a great point, Souls. Why were they complaining? I was like, oh yeah, like New York's going to change drastically. I'm not being funny. It's New York. It's not changed that much over the years, is it? Like, I'd rather them use maps the same. Like in the PS1 era, they used to release a game a year. You could finish a whole trilogy in a matter of what? Less than 5 years, a whole trilogy would be done. So, like, arguments were argument's sake are, they reused character models. They reused assets. They often reused whole levels, you know, and it worked. Every game doesn't need to be open world, and every single game doesn't need to have about 4,000 things in it. Sometimes it just needs a game. That's it. It don't need the world. So